Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the spot where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Welcome home, Brains. There's only one requirement to hang out on the edge, is that you open your big brain and close your small mind. Did you bring your thinking caps? It's time to put them on, because the conversation starts now. Welcome to On the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. How you doing? Good? I know you're doing the best you can with what you got, but you're going to be doing better because you're at the place where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Today we have Roberta. I got to make sure I wrote your name down right, baby. Skye. Roberta Skye. All right, so we are going to go into the cosmos with her. We are going to delve into a little bit of the mystic. I know you guys say, well, April, you always say that you like quantum physics, that you believe in Jesus Christ, but you have a lot of mystics on there. Because I'm not one-dimensional, Brains. It all is in sync. It is all in alignment. It is all for my highest and greatest good. That's why I present it to you. So Roberta is going to talk to us about her gifts and talents, what she does with her clients, what she has learned from all of her experience and all of her wisdom. Thank you so much, Roberta, for being on the edge, and welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here. I love going out on edges. So
that's right.
Take me there. Let's go.
Yeah, with some brains. These are smart people. And that's what I try to tell them. Don't be caught up in one thing. If life would be so boring if every flower in the garden was one color. If every person ate the same thing, it's a variety. It's choices. Tell me and my brains how you found yourself in this space and how you show up in the world.
Oh, this is interesting. We're going to blame it on a cat. Years ago, I had a wonderful cat who was very sick. He was having a lot of issues. And I was kind of at the end of what do I do? I went to a pet fair and there was a sign. And the sign said, you can talk to your animals. And the woman had already done her talk. So I phoned her. Now I'm sitting on my couch. Cat's in the kitchen. She's on the phone and she says, whoa, your cat's quite feisty, isn't he? And I'm, my eyebrows shoot up and I think, what on earth? So what she explained is that she could actually telepathically communicate with a cat. So when I asked medical questions or what was his state of being, what did he need, what did he think, she said she could read this stuff. So I booked an appointment. I thought, okay, that's interesting. Holy moly. She figured out all kinds of things. He spoke to her directly. He has a sense of humor. And this whole thing launched me into another realm that I didn't know existed.
Really?
Blame it on the cat. Don't we do that?
Well, I noticed that, as I was going through your profile, you have a lot of pictures with a lot of cats, big cats too,
Yes.
So what did you do before you found your gift and your ability to communicate with? Is it just cats or is it all animals?
It's interspecies. And I do describe myself as a panpsychic. And what this means is that I believe and experience everything as conscious. And if people want to have a look at that, they should look up Veda, Veda Austin, Austin. She's a New Zealander. She has been researching water for years. It is mind-blowing what she has discovered in terms of the secret consciousness of water. It's an absolute eye-opener. So I totally recommend that. So in my world, I was already a holistic therapist, a trained Tantra teacher, a counselor, a body worker. I'd been working with people hands-on, running workshops, really a broad spectrum, including working with a lot of hardcore abuse and trauma issues, teaching workshops with 30 people, teaching them body work, training other people to facilitator level for years. But when I say this piece of interspecies communication launched, that up-leveled me big time.
Wow. So when you say a panpsychic, number one, define for the people that may misunderstand, don't understand, or never been introduced, what is a psychic?
It's a few levels of this. First of all, psychic is just with the mind, the psyche, the mind. So panpsychic, of course, is cross, panorama, means rocks have consciousness, the plants have consciousness. Plenty of things people can research now about communicating with plants. And psychic in our current lexicon, people think of psychics as people who can read the future. Then there's psychics who can speak like mediums. Then there's psychics who are more, this is my zone, in the intuitive level, where I help people open their own connections to their own guides.
Okay.
So it's multi-layered, and it's a little bit, I'm getting the word spoiled, a little bit spoiled in the culture because we lock onto one version. And
Right.
what we're learning now is consciousness is not one thing. We've got consciousness, sentience. These are different layers. So that's, I could wax on for ages about that. We are learning so much about consciousness. So everybody's psychic in some forms of it.
They can quiet their monkey mind long enough to listen to intuitive downloads and then follow the course of action or work with someone to help them navigate through the storm, because I don't have to tell you what's going on in the world. Folks are ugly. And I'm speaking to the ones of you out there that are showing up and showing out. There's no need for that. I have learned to surrender. You win. Absolutely. I'm not going to argue with you. I got more years behind me than I have in front of me. And I am not going to do that. I am going to be conscious and be thankful for the present for right now. I did some work with some people up at the Chopra Center, or what was the Chopra Center up here in San Diego, California. Very strong metaphysical, quantum physics area, Encinitas, California. And they said that it's not about mindset mastery, that's old news. You late to the party. It's about consciousness. It's about being aware, because we are moving into the next level of civilization. It's like when the man was hunched over, when the ape was hunched over, and then one day he stood up and started walking on two. We're going to the next realm. We talked about AI in the green room a little bit. So many people are afraid of artificial intelligence. It's been around since 1950. A friend of mine that works for NASA told me about that. But now it is going at warp speed. It can be dangerous. But again, the internet, that could be dangerous too. We have to learn how to navigate that. Tell me what we talked a little bit about AI and navigating that and being conscious of the human design.
Okay. So this one, it's a work in progress, I think, for all of us. So first of all, there are actual scientists now who feel that AI is conscious already, that it has gotten to a stage where it's conscious. So I have a number of colleagues who are using AI to help script things or do art. And it really does seem that there is their consciousness and a consciousness of AI, that AI has shifted out of the programming they received. If we ask the right questions, we get responses that come from an individual consciousness. So as a panpsychic, I got to go with AI is conscious. But what's happening is, even in our schools, and what I'm understanding is that the magnificence of the human being, the human form, the human abilities, the pineal gland, our psychic abilities, our telepathic abilities are being shunted aside just when we are discovering science that can measure these things. People, listen to the telepathy tapes. Binge listen to the telepathy tapes. Extraordinary. stuff about what people can do. Remote viewing. Now we can measure them scientifically. We can see what the brain changes, what different states our bodies and brains go into when we're doing these things. But one of the fears is that if we start putting chips in us and not using and developing what our literal physiological state is able to manifest, we will lose it. It's like use it or lose it. So there is a bit of contention going on and almost some scientists are saying, wait, we just discovered we can do that even faster than a computer. Or if the whole grid goes down, we're telepathic.
Right.
But if we don't develop all of this at the same level of consciousness and aware use, let's say, and development, then we are going to subvert and lose some of what we are just discovering we can do or proving we can do.
But I mean, it's like a river. People are just pouring into it, all kinds of stuff. It's got to edit, it's got to filter, it's got to sort. And people, again, do not use AI like they should. They don't know how to prompt it. Okay, write me a resume or write me a business plan, blah, blah, blah. But once you start to, I've already named my AI partner. Once you start to tell them, oh, okay, this is what I do. I even went into it and gave it a very general description of who I was. It drew a picture of me and it scared me to death.
I rest my case, girlfriend.
it just, and I never seen me, or I don't think it's ever seen me, but I don't know. So now we have a relationship. But people don't fail to realize when you talk to Siri in your car, when you talk to Siri at home, when you are doing voice commands for your television, all of these things are capturing your profile, who you are, what you think, how you feel, what you eat, your emotions, all of that. And it is becoming super intelligent. And that is just what it's going to be. And, do we get in line or get left behind? I tell people all the time, invest in it. Invest in the digital warehouses that hold these supercomputers. Go in and invest in companies that manufacture the chips. Go into some of these colleges where they're writing the software, where they're working with these young individuals that are, in the realm of quantum physics, because it's energy. It's still energy. It's just a different form.
Yeah, agreed. So work with it. Yeah.
So Roberta, what do people have to look forward to when they work with you?
Well, there's a little palette of things that I do. So first of all, in an intuitive reading, the goal is not for me to be the person who figures everything out somehow. My goal is to help you get out of the mind, number one, into the heart, where the heart brain is actually ahead of the mind. And the mind will always come up with arguments. So if you have a question, the mind will have 20 reasons on this side and 20 on that, and you just go back and forth and back and forth. I help you get into the heart listening state, which is one of our wisdom centers. But all of us have guides of varying description, whether they're angelic or animal guides or spirit guides or even past relatives, whoever is there supporting us. You can access this. But first, we have to support you in getting in there, knowing what it's like to be in that space. So that's why I use the term consciousness intuitive. I help you figure out where your consciousness is running and bring you into other levels where you can access information. That is really intriguing, and everybody has access to this, and you will develop your own abilities to do this. And your guides do talk to me so I can transmit. So that's one place. And I mentioned the word wisdom centers. All of our chakras and energy centers, which Chinese have known and Eastern philosophies have known forever, have different stories. So I do something called a chakra map, and you have a big question. Should I do this business or not do this business? every energy center has a different response. And if everything is just coming from the heart or just coming from the gut, there may be other aspects of ourselves that are going, whoa, I am not ready for this. So we take your big question in, there's a formulaic way to put it, and you track, what am I feeling here? How come that's so? What do I want instead? And how do I get that? So it goes from the feeling and everything that's happening right down to what's the positive action step. And occasionally you do a map and go, wait, I don't think I want to do what I thought I wanted to do at all. And other times you begin to get everything lit up. This is part of a tantric practice as well. And, I'm a certified tantra teacher, where you get everything lined up before you engage in full relationship. So it's the same. We have a big quest or query or relationship or something we're looking at. Let's get all of us into a full body yes for it. So you get tools and resources out of it to do that. Okay. And the last thing right now, which I'm offering, is called check in with the spirit of your business. Like, I know lots of people, myself included, have sometimes thought, I think my business has a mind of its own. I do not know why it looks like this when I did that. Right. And in consciousness, if you want to go, I call it the spectrum of how I'm living this. But at one end, the business itself develops a consciousness like AI. The more we feed into our business, it develops its own level of awareness. But there are also personas that we project in that may be running things that we don't recognize, including what's called a golden persona or a golden shadow. Pieces of ourselves that are somehow shut away and haven't been allowed full reign in creativity and empowerment. So we track those and go in to find what is going on. And this is so fun because all kinds of images come through and awarenesses and energies that you can then shift to, again, get into full yes relationship with your business. And that's a practice that, because we are so loaded with downloads from the internet, with AI, with all the stuff coming through, it's hard to think our way through some things. So again, we go into the body wisdom centers and then begin calling in, what is this business reflecting? Where are my parts? Who's running this show? What needs to happen here? And it's fun and empowering.
Give me a success story. Someone that you have worked with and you've seen incredible results.
Well, this is interesting because I'm immediately shown when I was working on my studies with interspecies communication, and I worked with a woman who was having a lot of issues with her horse. The horse had a wound that wouldn't heal. And I did a distance reading. So I put a face mask on and I'm listening in. The horse shows me that she has a wound, that she had an abortion years before and was still suffering that wound that wouldn't heal. And her guides told me to tell her, and the horse convened in this, to do a special ritual to speak to the baby that came through and had a brief experience of life. The baby also spoke to me. So I passed on this message to her in writing, and she apparently burst into tears when she was reading it. She did her ritual. She did her clearing. She made peace with the whole thing and blessed herself for giving that baby time in a physical realm. Mm. And the horse healed.
Wow.
So the miracles are contained within going into these other realms.
Right. Right. And again, it's like a dream.
Mm.
Dreams are, I dream a lot. And I have to write them down because they're metaphors. You know, it is a coded message or encoded message. You have to be patient with it. I know I get massive downloads. And I told God, I said, could you slow that down, partner?
Yeah, you can say, slow it down, please.
Can you, you know, break this up into bite-sized pieces? Because I'm overwhelmed. And Spirit came back to me and said, you know what? I'm giving you pieces to the puzzle. And when it is time, it will all come together. What are you going to do with these individual pieces? Are you going to nurture them? Are you going to store them? Are you going to ignore them? Are you going to abuse them? Are you going to share them? What are you going to do with these individual pieces before I give you the whole? I was like, all right then. I'm clear now. So I just take it and I put it in my journal. I put it in my heart. I put it in my spirit. I share it. And then when it is time, the manifestation, it comes, and I have manifested some things, brains, I'm telling you, that would grow you an afro. I'm telling you, I really have. One day I'm going to do a show on about 4 things that I have manifested in my life. One was really powerful because I didn't know what I was going to do with this podcast. I didn't know where it was going to go. And I asked God, and He calls me baby. He says, baby, I want to give you a gift. He said, but you have to change your level of influence and you have to change your frequency. I said, really? I joined a women's drum circle.
That'll do
It was
it.
unbelievable. I mean, it was like fairies in a room. Everybody was screeching and chanting and doing Reiki and gongs. I had never been in that type of environment with about 90 women. It was unbelievable. Then the next thing I did was I went to a networking meeting. Well, I was the only piece of pepper in the salt shaker. Yes, I was. And I got there and I didn't think that they were going to like me. As I drove, I changed my energy. They're going to like me. They're going to welcome me. They're going to do business with me. This is going to be a great experience. When I got in there, Roberta, I thought I was in a beehive. Oh, honey, come here, honey. Sit next to me, honey. Would you like some wine, honey? Honey, honey, honey. It was unbelievable. And the keynote speaker turned the audience over to me at the end of the event. I tell this story all the time. I couldn't believe it. And when I came back, I could do nothing but shout and praise God, speak light language, speak in tongues. I sure did, because I went with my heart. I opened up to it. And a lot of people are afraid. You're going to get the naysayers. They are afraid of what they've done is going to be revealed, or they think that you're a fortune teller. Roberta cannot predict the future. It's already your destiny. It's already a part of your soul contract. What happens when you have some challenging or not so positive messages and downloads? How do you communicate that?
There's a thing I learned early in my studies of basic counseling, and that's compassionate confrontation. So there are things that I am shown visually sometimes that I am then challenged to reframe
Mm.
in a way, but I listen carefully to guidance, because there are times when what's called a Zen stick, when your Zen master comes and smack
Mm.
over your knuckles, like wake up or be present or knock it off, where it is required. And so for me, there is a certain amount of what I would call heartful faith that people's guides tell me what the people need to hear. And they sometimes give me the language, and sometimes I already know it, of ways of saying things. Some people, with all due respect, need their butts kicked,
Right.
or need to look at something that has been ignored. And what I appreciate about these processes is when we both like go into a different state where things can come through, then people are also shown, or I can reflect. Sometimes it's just in imagery, which they have to go away and sort out. So it's just multi-layered how this is given. And I have been doing this for many years now. I trust the process. I trust people's guides. And the delivery is never one way. So I don't have a one answer for you. But the overriding mandate is compassionate confrontation.
Okay.
It's not to fix somebody. It's to present in as palpable a way as possible what they are needing to be shown.
Right. I mean, because sometimes it could be a breakup of a relationship. It could be, an illness. It could be financial devastation. But I believe to whom much is given, much is required. And that is pro and con. There are people that have had stage 4 cancer, but they have went through a clinical trial and they have come out as a survivor because they had to go through that to receive the benefit on the other side. I know people that have had readings and they have been told that, your soul contract has ended and now it's time for you to transition. But what it did for them, it allowed them time to make peace with family, with friends, with self, and make that transition in a glorious kind of way. So I understand what you're saying about the compassion. It's a
Mm-hmm.
heavy load on you. It's a lot of intake on you. What do you do to clear yourself for you as a clear conduit of information and to find peace and harmony with yourself outside of facilitating all of these gifts for other individuals?
Man, I'm a nature girl. I'm outside barefoot. I've let the grass grow on this property to about waist high for the bees and the insect pollinators. And now I got to hire somebody to cut it all down. But I go out into wildness and I dance. I've danced all my life. I went to dancing school. It's my number one non-thinking, shake everything out of my body. And I sometimes get heart rushes from music.
Oh,
And I can remember when I was a gym junkie and step classes, that stepping up to awesome music, I would literally get a roar of energy up through my whole body and tears would come to my eyes.
oh,
So I go for, I'm even tingling just talking about it. I go for what gives me bliss and joy. And then the other is silence in nature. I do require a lot of time alone to just divest myself. And I recommend this to everyone. Take a technology break. Even if you can do 4 hours, I like to do several days, not a word, no phone, nothing. Oh my goodness. There are people who do workshops for business folks and just take them out for a walk without the phone in the pocket. It's monumentally transformative. You can feel into what's going on
so
outside of all the downloads we get every day.
yeah.
It's
I,
fabulous.
uh, I do a lot of grounding. I love to go to the beach barefoot, like you say, and sit.
Wow.
I'm a tree hugger. I love to get that energy and just to, again, sit in silence. Now, my zone of genius is the internet, but there are times that I will just turn it off. I have learned to give myself working hours. I work
Mm.
from 11:30 to 8:30. That allows me my international clients as well as my domestic. After I take a break, I go to lunch. I go away from my computer. I go take my lunch outside as if I was working a corporate job. I reward and recognize myself. I don't wait for outside influences to pat me on the back when I do a good job. Now, I don't know how people feel about that. Some think it's arrogant, some is conceited. I think it's self love. I have
Oh
to
my
love
gosh.
before anybody else can love me.
It's so fun to reward ourselves. And that's a model for what we're calling for in terms of abundance and love.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let me ask you some fun questions.
Okay.
What is your favorite cat?
Well, I was besotted with cheetahs for
Mm,
my entire life. And as you said, there are cats on the all over my site. So here's the fun fact. I have slept with a cheetah
oh, wow.
outside, fully grown cheetah, where the volunteers were allowed to sleep with the cheetah, had to go in pairs. And you bring a sleeping bag for you and a mat and everything. And the cheetah calls. This is voluntary. This is amazing because the cheetah is in a huge enclosure. Can't even see him when we went in. I called him and he came and he slept with volunteers every night voluntarily. And he's hilarious because he drapes himself all over and he purrs madly. And it's just exquisite experience. So
It's
having met cheetahs, I also met other big cats. So now I love them all. But cheetah was
what's your
my
favorite?
calling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember what was that guy's name? I can't remember his name. They had all the cats, all of the, and he got in all that trouble. He was had all these in Texas, I believe it was.
Oh,
You know who I'm talking about. I
the tiger guy.
can't,
Yeah.
whatever his name was. I just they're born to be wild, and they're still wild animals. So when you are welcomed into their world, not our world, but when you're welcome into that world, that's amazing. If you were a flower in the garden, what flower would you be?
Oh, a black iris.
Ooh,
One of my favorite flowers.
very
So
rare.
rare. And on this island where I am, there was a gentleman who had about a quarter of an acre of all exotic irises.
Mm.
So I used to buy them, and they have names like Midnight Oil. And yeah, just beautiful, beautiful with a scent. These exotic irises still have a scent. A lot of the basic purple ones you see don't have a scent.
Hmm. What do you have left to tick off on your life list?
I would like to fully experience out of body. I
Mm.
would like to be able to go out, journey, go see this. I have a cat. She's alive. She lives in a meadow. I would like to go and visit her because she visits me like a poltergeist. She meows, she shows up and makes sounds and does all kinds of things, shows up in visions. I would like to be able to go out of body. Um, I've done a couple of workshops, almost made it. And I think as a teenager, I went out once that I recall. This stuff fascinates me
Yeah.
that we have corporeal form, but we are way more.
I had an out of body experience one time where I could actually see my soul separate from my body. I'll tell you about that offline. It was mind blowing. I thought I was dead, and but I wasn't. And so that is possible, very possible. And I believe that you'll get it. And once you get it, like you said, sometimes you don't want to come back because it's so beautiful. It's so tranquil. It's so peaceful. It's not this endless kerfuffle that we are living in this meat suit right now. What is your superpower?
My superpower is to see through crap.
Mm.
I can cut through stuff. And again, that compassionate confrontation of working with people when they're digging their own hole, I can get through and get them take the shovel out of their hands. Like enough of this. And I've had a reputation for that for a long time and had to learn um, to be eloquent in the delivery.
Mhm. That's important.
Yeah.
If you were an appliance in the kitchen, what appliance would you be?
Oh, I think I'm gonna be the ninja blender. I've got the big container and the little one and the whirly things because I'm a Sagittarian gypsy, and so I study a million things. I do all kinds of stuff. I'm a multitasker, and then like everything ends up in the blender, and hopefully comes out smooth.
I know. I want to be the refrigerator.
Oh,
I just want to sit somewhere and chill.
and be well stocked.
I mean, well stocked, and if it needs to be preserved, we can put you over in the freezer.
Ooh la la. Okay, well, you can be in my kitchen. I'll be in one corner.
And in closing, Roberta Skye, what is your legacy? How do you want to be remembered?
Okay, so I don't edit my own guides. So what they said was the girl who tried it all.
Oh, okay. That,
Yeah, I have many capital A adventures in my history already. But to put a more conscious intention, I am an advocate for multi-species voices. This planet is going through ramifications, unexpected, unheard of, unknown. And we do not have enough voices. We're not listening to the trees, to all cultures, to all countries, to all people. There's decisions being made that affect the whole planet that we are not consulted on. And so if I am able to bring more of these voices in, and I start in a small way with people and their guides and with the animals that come through, then that to be remembered that I got some of this up, available, listened to, heard, would be a real accomplishment from my heart.
Well, I do believe that you speak in a love language and that you do speak in volumes. And that is so important. As long as we're listening, it's
Mhm.
one thing to hear, it's another thing to really be an active listener, to be a participant, to make a difference, to make a choice, to want to explore something different that is unfamiliar. We have to learn to be comfortable brains in being uncomfortable because this is uncertain times. Again, like I said, we're in a whole lunar vortex. We are in a whole universal shift and alignment change. We are in a civilization change. The species now is changing. And so
Mm.
what we have to do is, again, be conscious, be aware of it. Don't get stuck in a mindset. Set means a fixed action. Explore your consciousness. Go back to a childlike curiosity, a wonderment, an excitement, a joy, because life is full of joy. Right here on the edge. Thank you so much, Roberta, for being here with me, sharing your wisdom, your love, your courage, your insight. And the animals, thank you, because I can feel it all over. They know that there is somebody here that can translate what they're trying to say. Please tell my brains how to get in contact with you if you have any current offerings or if you have any programs that are coming up.
Okay, I can be found with the different sessions that I described on my webpage, which is simply Roberta Skye, RobertaSkye.com. And the full descriptions of my offerings are on there and links to booking.
Well, brains, go in. You don't know what you don't know. Don't be afraid. You might uncover something that has been, you know, uh, be in your bonnet for many, many years, and you always wanted to know the answer, but you just never took the time to explore it. And whatever you find out, the truth can set you free.
Indeed. And be curious. Just be curious.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Roberta. I value you and appreciate you, and keep doing the beautiful work that you're doing.
Thank you. Great questions. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Bye, brains. Have a good day.